Hi and welcome to Shadow School. My name is Matt Sandbank. Today we are making T-Rex puppets. Now stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how you can use a simple piece of scenery to really take your Tyrannosaur to the next level. Let's get started. Here are the materials you need for this shadow puppet. All right, so let's start with the tail of the T-Rex. So what we're going to do for the tail is we're going to start with a U. We're going to take this cardboard and turn it diagonally at an angle just like that and make a U that goes like this. And we're going to just kind of make that tail get gradually wider until it gets down to about right here. And this is where the body is going to begin. And so let's take this blue to show where we're going to start with that one. We're going to make this belly a little bit wider, kind of come up to a point there. And same with the bottom of the body. We're going to kind of start going up and round it off, and then we're going to come to kind of an almost point right there. Now we need to make sure we add this little tiny arm and just make a half circle and then make a few little claws like that. That'll suggest the Tyrannosaur's little baby arm. And then let's make a nice big foot down here. Let's size it out. It should go about that far from like almost the base of the tail to almost where the arm goes. And we put a half circle there, go down to a point, that's the big toe, and then kind of give the bottom of the foot kind of a waviness there, and then we'll kind of head back like that, because the leg will kind of, we imagine it going like this. And the next, when we make our next leg, that's the shape we'll follow. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this out, and we can use this to size up the rest of our puppet. I should say here that there's actually quite a few different ways that I've made Tyrannosaurs in the past. Depending on what you need your puppet to do will kind of determine how to make your puppet. So one thing I would encourage is you follow along with these videos and make the puppet, but then experiment with, once you get the basic shape of the puppet down, experiment with how you want to put your body parts of the puppet together. See if you can come up with another arrangement. See if you can isolate one different part of the body or another to move it. Let's go ahead and make that leg. We want to make sure that it fits in this unused part of the cardboard, and we'll just trace out on top of this. Those legs should be symmetrical, so tracing is a good idea here. Once we get to the end there, remember our check mark. We just kind of want to make that leg go out gradually like this, make it fit in with the cardboard we have. That should be good. That's actually going to be probably too big, so we probably want to, you can see there, we don't want the leg to connect right up here in the chest. We should have it be connecting more like around here. So I think this will be our better line there. Go ahead and cut out that second leg. Okay, and that should, yeah, that looks good. Let's go ahead and punch a hole out in the middle here. Line up those legs so that they are one on top of the next. Put a little dot there so we know where we're going to join the puppet pieces. Make sure you remember this is the blue dot, that pink dot. I shouldn't have put that there yet. Let's see if we can reach in there. We can't reach, but it's going to be real close, so I'm going to do it anyway. If you're missing by just a like half inch like that, that'll still end up looking just fine. If you're off by more than just a little bit, you'll need to either redraw your puppet or kind of make a cut in there so you can reach in with your hole punch. But I think this is going to work for us, even though we're not exact. Shadow puppetry usually doesn't have to be an exact art form. Oh, we forgot to cut out the little claws on the arm there. Let's do that. All right, and now it's time to add the head of the T-Rex. All right, for the head of the T-Rex, sometimes I have to do this one multiple times because the proportion is very hard for me, getting getting the proportion just right. So let's start with um, a big oval that goes like this, and another oval that kind of meets back here. These are the jaws, kind of a slightly skinnier oval like that. And then let's do a circle like this. Okay, so that is going to be the kind of basic shape of our head, and then let's use a different color to draw what we're gonna end up cutting out. So what we want is this to gradually flow into the neck. So we'll go like that, two blue lines like there, and then we'll join those in a kind of circular line. And then we're gonna just follow the bottom edge of that jaw. We're gonna make a little lip there and add one or two teeth. Three, why not three? And then we're gonna kind of rise up here into like a brow. It's where that the little ridge where the eyes go. So just add on to that circle there a little bit. And then we'll meet up with the top of this oval, follow that around, and around here, go back in for the lip, and then let's add about three teeth. And then let's kind of join, yeah, there we go. Join the last two teeth at a point there with some lines. And then make sure as you're cutting that you remember that you are cutting on the blue line, not the pink, or whatever your secondary color was, or whatever your final line is. Now I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that that head is a little bit small in proportion. So I'm going to cut on the outside of this blue line as much as I can so that I have options. See if that, I'm cutting it a little bigger than I originally drew. I can always cut away more if I was wrong about that. I am going to keep the teeth where they are. I think the teeth look good, but I think the head looks like it's a little small. So I'll follow the teeth and mouth just on the line, but then for the snout and head, I think I'm going to go outside the line just a little bit. Give myself some options later. All right. And then let's add the head to the rest of the body. We're going to put a dot right there. Let's see what makes sense in terms of where that head goes. And when it looks right, you're going to put a dot. And then that's where you're going to punch out. I'm going to go ahead and round this off. There. All right. We want the head to be on top because we're going to attach a rod to the head. Drop that brad through. Pinch it down and fold those tabs over. And then we have a Tyrannosaur that should move kind of like this. Now, when you're moving this Tyrannosaur, I mean, you could make it, rock its head like it's a rock and roll dinosaur. Maybe that's not a bad idea for the later part of our show. But generally, you want to keep that head in kind of the normal range of movement because it really helps make that leg mechanism work. Okay, let's go ahead and add our straws. Puppet's flat on the table. Straws are going to end up sticking straight up in the air. We bend the straw. The bend of the straw should go next to the joint of the puppet, and this straw is going to go straight up that way. Let me grab my tape and tape that down. I'm going to use 2 pieces of tape just to make sure it's really secure on there. And then I'll do the same thing with the leg. Bend of the straw is going to go next to the joint of the puppet. You can see that is just a little bit long. It's poking out towards the back of the leg. So I'm going to cut just a little bit off of that straw. And I'm going to fold that tape under the leg. Get it taped on there real well. Let's use 2 pieces of tape. And we're ready to try it out on the shadow puppet screen. You're going to want to bend that leg up a little bit and this leg down a little bit. You don't want to put a crease. You just want to bend those legs away from each other so that they don't snag on one another when you're operating the puppet. And there you have your T-Rex puppet. Now, this is a cute little dinosaur, but if we add a little piece of scenery, just a cityscape, which is a bunch of rectangles to suggest buildings, we can make this T-Rex become a very menacing character, like this. Thank you so much for joining me today at Shadow School. My name is Matt Sandbank. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you enjoy making shadow puppets like this one with me. Thank you so much. See you next time.